Hello, and welcome to the Banker's Tech Talk video series looking at all things fintech. I'm Joy Macknight, Managing Editor at The Banker, and with me is Jean Belanger, CEO and the co-founder of Cerebri AI, a startup looking to change the way major enterprises and organizations engage with their customers and users. Jean, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell me a little bit about how bank brands should be engaging with their customers?
Customer engagement is all about commitment to the brand. And this is a big problem because there have been very few measurement tools that allow you to understand the commitment. You have net promoter scores. We've all been faced with, will you recommend me to your friends and relatives? There are surveys, but commitment to the brand and products has been a difficult problem. The second thing is that banks and large enterprises at large have many silos within the organizations, marketing, sales, call center activity. So the customer data is spread across myriad number of applications. So you have commitment to the brand, you have data, and then you have risk. And one of the major issues in banking is, well, banking in essence is all about risk, measuring risk, quantifying it, and dealing with it. And so if you're going to look at customer engagement, you have to look at it on a risk-adjusted basis. So commitment to the brand, do you use all your data, and have you measured risk appropriately and at speed? Because the internet and all the mobile banking applications require almost instantaneous decisions.
Okay, so how does Cerebri use artificial intelligence to really, improve that sort of engagement on one level, but also speak to the key performance indicators?
Well, there are two kinds of indicators when you're looking at customer engagement and customer revenue. So you have engagement, which is commitment, the softer side, the corporate branding, we put our names on buildings, etc. And then you have the revenue side, especially on a quarter-by-quarter basis. Since most of our global banking customers are public institutions, they have to report to their shareholders. So you have KPIs that are related to revenue, and then you have KPIs that are related to commitment. And engagement and the commitment to the customer, to the brand and products was the most difficult task that we had to deal with. It took us over 3 years and a lot of effort. We've come up with a measurement for commitment called Cerebri Values, and this replaces in effect the need to do NPS and surveys. Those become one data element in all of the customer transaction data that a bank might have. We first measure commitment, and that's the lodestone that we start with. We take all of the data. Data is not just data, social media, it's not just marketing data, it's all your transaction volumes. If I have a personal loan product, a mortgage product, I'm transacting with the bank on a fairly consistent basis, at least we hope so. And so consequently, there's a lot of information baked into this data. And then of course we look at risk. Our very first banking project looked at risk, and I can explain that in a minute.
Okay. Do you want to go on and really explain that? Because that's the most interesting part, isn't it?
So the first thing we did was look at a $35 billion book of business for a global bank. And we looked at their originations. They originated about 800,000 loans a year, about $12.5 billion. And we added $1 billion to their risk adjudication that was automated without any increase in risk, using just the data they had on hand. So artificial intelligence is a very powerful tool. It's talked about every day in all of the various business press, and for a good reason, because it works. Last but not least is the work we're doing with the central bank, the Bank of Canada. The Bank of Canada is obviously one of the more prestigious central banks in the world, and there we're introducing AI into their macroeconomic forecasting from the point of view of bringing economic variables into the customer journeys so that we can look at the various aspects of the economy in terms of making banking decisions. So we've looked at macroeconomics, we've looked at personal loans, credit cards, and auto lending as well. So we've done a myriad number of different products. The important thing for the banks to understand is that it's no longer a siloed business. The customer has one journey with the bank, no matter how many products they use or purchase. So in essence, it's to be able to understand one journey and to be able to use that across all the various products to understand not only the engagement, but also the revenue side. So we do both sides of the equation in terms of dealing with the customer. So the last but not least is, how do you manage all of that? Well, you manage all of that by producing the best actions you should take in the context of the timing you're looking at. If a customer is on your website and looking at mortgage products, what action do you take to proactively say, why don't you look at this product versus that product? We do that for individual products, silos, but we also look at the impact across all the KPIs. If you recommend an action to a customer, buy this product or this service, you may also want to look at what impact that has on other key performance indicators you have.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your insights, Jean.
You're welcome.